Hello, this is Bloody Essentials. I'm Nina,
I'm Jamie.
I'm Ethan.
and we are very excited. We have a very special guest with us. We have Brandy from Terrorific Lady on Instagram. Hi, Brandy.
Hello! I'm so happy to be here.
We're very happy to have you.
Yeah.
So, Brandy, tell us a little bit about what got you interested in horror.
Oh boy, I have my mom to thank for that. So she was showing me just all the horror movies that she watched when she was a kid and a teen. So I grew up on a lot of Alfred Hitchcock. I grew up on a lot of 70s horror films like Carrie and The Exorcist and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and a lot of 80s horror too. So she showed me a lot of the 80s horror movies that I was too young to watch at the time.
Love it.
Yeah, we're a big fan of 70s and 80s horror here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And you're the one that picked Carrie. So tell us why Carrie? What stands out to you about this movie?
Well, I connect with it kind of on a personal level because I was severely bullied in junior high and somewhat in high school. So I can sympathize with the character of Carrie. That is until she reaches her boiling point. So
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever go that far. Just you know, but that's and plus it's one of the movies that my mom watched and she showed me. So I've got that kind of personal connection to it too. So lots of personal connection to that movie.
Definitely. Yeah. I wanted to ask the rest of you guys, Jamie, Ethan, were either of you guys bullied in school?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Big time in middle school. You know, I had braces. I had a speech impediment. I had my motor skills were so bad. I had to use this little keyboard thing to do my homework because the teachers couldn't read and this was not the age of laptops. This was not the age of, so I stuck out like a sore thumb. But yeah, I did get bullied a bit. I also relate to Carrie. And there are moments in this movie that it's still I feel it in my chest. You know what I mean? There's scenes where I feel it in my chest and it's intense.
Ethan, what about you? Were you bullied?
I was not bullied in high school. No. Well, I went to a private school.
Oh, you're special.
Yeah, I went to a private school, so they didn't play that crap. If anybody, started with anybody, they were in trouble. And then
you're the first person I've ever talked to that has never been bullied. Wow. Or at least in school.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You also stand up for yourself pretty well. So
I do. I have a mouth on me, so yeah.
I can vouch for that. We love that though.
Yeah. I was bullied in elementary school and middle school. Not so much high school. People kind of just didn't care about in high school. But yeah, 5th grade sucked. It was absolutely brutal. And then middle school was horrible. Yeah. They made fun of my curly hair.
Aww.
Yeah. Kids would stick pencils in my hair and all kinds of other stuff. It was great.
Wow.
It was great. Kids suck.
Yeah.
I had a kind of a almost unibrow for a little bit there, and that was definitely a target.
Yeah.
Now it's thick eyebrows are so in, and I'm like, man, wish they were when I had the unibrow.
I know. I used to pluck mine so thin. That's crazy. All right.
Oh, Carrie.
Yeah, so we can definitely empathize with Carrie just a smidgen. So yeah, it definitely makes it hard to watch. So it's still fun though.
It's an amazing movie.
It was a great movie. And I didn't have the bullying part, but I resonated a little with a different part of her.
Okay.
The really over religious people. So
yes, I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went to a private school. It was
a Christian school, right?
It was a Baptist school.
Baptist school.
Okay.
Yes, and there's a big difference, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
So
okay. And Ethan is very generous enough to be doing plot points for us. So I promise it is not because of your Christian beliefs that we picked you. All right, let's jump on into it.
All right. We start the movie with a bunch of girls playing volleyball in gym class. And Carrie misses the ball, and all the girls start yelling at her. And that's when they start picking on her. So, okay, we know this is the girl who's going to get all the crap in the movie.
Yeah.
Now we move on to the locker room where, can I just say, there was a lot of nudity and a lot of titties.
I will say, as somebody who's been in a locker room,
Yeah.
that is inaccurate. Okay.
Yes. Nothing like the locker rooms that I remember. Just like, especially the showers, just like in PE class, they always had just like those closed curtains.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
There
don't
was
know, but
nothing open, yeah. And girls are way too embarrassed and shy to ever walk around that naked.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but Josh was walking through while I was watching the movie. I have a 15-year-old son, and he was walking through, and he just stopped, and he's like, "Dad, what are you watching?" And I was like, it's homework for the podcast. And he was like, "What kind of movies are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's a horror movie. This was the 70s. It was allowed." So
I called it the locker room of naked frolicking and brutality because, man,
yes.
you're either frolicking and happy or getting like seriously bullied in this locker room.
Yeah. I also mentioned the male gaze because Brian De Palma is very notorious for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now, after we've seen all the boobies around here, we get to Carrie starting to wash herself, which again was kind of like softcore porn. But
it was very weird.
It was very sensual. I was like, okay, I'm not complaining, but what exactly is going on here with you?
It's more up close and personal Sissy Spacek than I needed to see.
Absolutely.
I love how they did it though. Like, I mean, I love how like they have these shots that are like close-ups of like different parts of her, and it's like there's something like kind of sexual about it, but something also kind of like innocent
very
too,
innocent
because it's Carrie. So like, yeah, I liked it. I like how they like put it together.
I think the music helps too. I think the music kind of makes it feel like, this is a young woman. She's growing and changing and evolving.
Right.
And this is just part of it. So very cleverly done.
So she starts washing her legs, and all of a sudden you see the blood start streaming down, and she's getting her period.
Yeah.
And she starts to freak out because she doesn't know what's happening because nobody's ever told this girl about the birds and the bees or her period or anything that's going to happen to her. Wow. Which obviously I never had to get you're going to get your period speech from my parents because, well, obviously I'm not going to get one. But I'm assuming by that age, your mom should have talked to you about that. I mean,
senior in high school, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
So she comes out and is like freaking out. She thinks she's, dying and she doesn't know what's going on. And all the girls start laughing at her and throwing tampons at her, telling her to plug it up, which again, horrible. Kids, they're little a-holes. I mean, seriously.
This scene destroys me. Like, I feel so bad for her. Like, the camera angles too make you feel very like vulnerable, and like, it's brutal. Like, that's one of those scenes that hits me in the chest, because you feel so bad for her. She kind of slinks down into the corner, like in the shower. And I mean, it's like, man, somebody help her out. Like, somebody help her out. Like, that's the first thing I would have done if I was in that locker room is like, hey, you okay? Like, come with me. Right. Let's talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody.
It's because you're not a bitch. So.
Yeah.
And then she was eventually helped by the gym teacher who slapped her. It's just like, there's so much slapping going on in this movie. It's like, did just teachers slap everybody in the 70s? I don't know what's going on there.
It was a slappy era.
I'm like, teacher comes in and is consoling her and all of a sudden just slaps her and tells her to calm down. I'm like,
that would not make me calm.
I know.
Yeah.
The terror continues. Like,
seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it was back in the 70s because I wasn't, but if somebody slapped my kid in the 70s or in school.
In the 70s.
No, I don't know how it was back in the 70s, but if a teacher slapped my kid, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now Carrie is in the office and the gym teacher's talking to the principal and you hear him talking about, well, the mother's a freak and, all of this. So they call her in. They're going to let her go home because she's having her period. And he keeps calling her Cassie.
I love this scene because we get some signature Brian De Palma cinematography, and I love Brian De Palma movies because of these shots. Like you got the split screen, and it's so great. He's fantastic, and I love the part where the principal looks down at the gym teacher's shorts, and there's menstrual blood on her shorts, and he's like, "Ugh," like it's so funny. Such a great moment.
Yeah.
And then you get to see a little bit of an inkling of Carrie's powers. She made the lights explode in the locker room, but then she's like is making the ashtray just kind of on the desk. So she's like, okay, so something here.
I was just about to say that we see Carrie start to shake the ashtray when he keeps calling her Cassie, and she freaks out and she's like, "My name is Carrie."
Yeah.
The ashtray starts shaking, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna get good. So so she starts. One of my most memorable was the boy on the bike. Yeah, she starts walking home, and the little a-hole on the bike starts going around her and said, "Creepy Carrie, creepy Carrie." She gives him that look, and boom, he falls off of the bike.
Yeah,
Punk deserved it.
Right? I was like, I love that. It's just kind of good. You suck.
Yeah.
So,
and also, why is this kid not in school? What are you doing?
Right? All right. Next thing we have is Mrs. White is going over to the Smith house preaching the gospel. So she's going over there trying to get everybody to Jesus. So they're not having it. She's having a drink. She doesn't want anything to do with this. She's like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Here, let me give you $5 for your church." She just kind of looks at her. She's like, $10? Here you go. Like, I'm just going to give you money. Go away. You just want an offering, right? So obviously that's not what Crazy wanted, but when she was leaving, she was like, "I hope you find Jesus."
Can I just say Piper Laurie was absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
As the mother. Just absolutely. She initially thought that it was a Black comedy because she thought the character of Margaret White was just so over the top, ridiculous. And so she's like, be a comedy. Like, I don't even know what, but fantastic. Academy Award nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah. She played that very well. It was very convincing.
Oh yeah.
And
she scared the crap out of me when I first saw this movie. Still does.
I hate to say that I know a lot of people like her.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So
I might know one or two. I love when she says though, like, these are godless times, and she says, "I'll drink to that."
And then she realizes what she said.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
All right, so Mrs. White goes home, gets a call from the school. Obviously, they're telling her what happened. Starts talking to Carrie, and Carrie's like, "Mama, why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't you tell me?" Yeah. Of course, this just pisses the over religious mother off, and she ends up slapping her.
Yeah,
slapping.
Right. Starts preaching to her that it was the sin of Eve and sex was the first sin, and I was like, no, it really wasn't, but that's beside the point. So
she's making her try to recite it to like repeat after me type shit, and it's just
I know. And the poor thing, the whole time she's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Like, I was scared, Mama." And I'm like,
yeah,
it's like
Carrie.
I'm like,
it's scary enough even when you know what's happening.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
After you have the talk, as a girl, the first time you have it, it's very terrifying. So it's like,
I know.
Come on.
A little bit of warning would have been nice.
Right?
It would have still been hard, but maybe it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
I also love the music during this scene, whenever the moms walk into the house, that kind of like melancholy, like kind of like almost like moody, like music. It kind of leads to like the whole just like what's to come. It's just like carries that whole like kind of maybe nervous tension, like Carrie's just like I'm gonna have to end up telling my mom, and it's just that whole scene was just like hard. It was so freaking hard to watch. Like really.
So she starts praying with her and, preaching to her. And finally she's like, get in your prayer closet, and shoves her in the closet, so she can pray with the really, really creepy Jesus crucifix.
It's so scary.
Yeah, I was like, oh, why does Jesus look like Satan? Yeah, it was creepy. I'm like, he's supposed to be God. That's not how he looks. So, okay. So she gets done in her prayer closet. She comes out, and Mother White's there singing and sewing. So she go ahead and kisses mom. Kind of like, thank you, I needed that. Which I'm like, hello, let's brainwash our child a little more. But she kisses her and she tells her, go to bed. And Carrie's upstairs crying in her room, and all of a sudden the mirror shatters. Yeah. So of course,
it's so cool how it looks too, like how they shot that. Like it kind of like does this thing and then it like shatters.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It was very cool. So of course, Mother gets up to go find out what's going on, and Carrie knows that her mother's going to come in here, so she's pretending to pray. Well, what was that noise? I didn't hear any noise. I'm just praying before bed. Because she knows that's what she wants,
And the mirror is fixed too, so
right,
magically fixed. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's a picture of Jesus in Carrie's room, and it kind of looks like how Carrie looks like at the end of the movie. It's very crazy. It's very red and black, very deep contrast there. It's fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So now we're back at school, and I'm assuming he's an English teacher, is reading a poem that we find out that Tommy had written, and Carrie says that it was beautiful. Teacher begins, being a dick to Carrie, because, why not? Everybody else is, right?
That broke my heart.
Absolutely.
It's like kids are mean, but like, come on, seriously, you're a grown man. You're supposed to be an example for the kids. Like,
and
if you're not even going to do anything,
protecting the children.
Exactly.
So, So when he does that, Tommy's like, "You suck." Under his breath, which I was like, okay. I the first time I seen it, and I was young when I seen it, I was like, I like him.
I like him.
I like him. He's standing up for her. I like him.
Yep. So. No wonder Carrie had like a crush on him. And as a side note, my mom was like, "Oh boy, all the girls loved him."
Oh yeah.
I have such a crush on Tommy. Oh my gosh, William Cat. Like, I met him and he was so nice. He was wearing like a soft, like velvety, like blazer too. So I was like, "Oh, you're soft too." But his hair is glorious.
Is his hair still long?
It's not quite that anymore, but he looked great. But I love that character so much. And there's this beautiful like shot too where this movie has lots of great like layering and framing and everything. But there's the great shot of him, his face at the front of the row, and then you see Carrie in the back. It's beautiful. And oh, that face. I love him.
I love him too. He's so handsome in this movie.
Yeah.
All right, so the girls are now in gym class. All the girls that were picking on Carrie in the locker room, they're in gym class, and the teacher is yelling at them, telling them basically what horrible little bitches they are, and which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And she says that, what she wanted was to give them 3 days suspension and no tickets to the prom. And of course they're like, "Oh my God." She's like, "But I've been overruled and I can't do that. So you have 1 week of detention, every day after school with me." Of course, Nancy Allen's character is like, "Nah, I'm not doing it." She's like, "Nope, I'm not going." She's like, "Well, if you don't show up, then you have 3 days suspension and you can't go to prom."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Sue was really the only one that looked like she felt just genuinely bad about what she'd done. All the other girls were like, I can't go to prom. Like, it's like,
right.
Not the point. No.
Yeah.
It's like, are you ladies listening to me? Like, you traumatized your classmate. Like, that is what we were talking about here. This is more important. Like, come on, ladies.
You don't deserve to go to prom if you can't act like a lady.
Yeah.
Support your fellow women.
Yes.
All right, so now we're in detention, and she's got him doing, all kinds of exercises, jumping jacks and squats, and all kinds of stuff. And cuts from there to Carrie's in the library now, and she's looking up books about what exactly is going on in her, telekinetics and moving stuff with her mind. So she's really trying to find out what's going on here. And just for a minute, Josh was walking through the room again, and he was like, "What is she doing?" Because she was looking through the, like we all had to in the library.
System.
And he was like, "What is she doing?" And I was like, "Oh, she's at the library. She's trying to find a book on something." And he goes, "Why doesn't she just go to the computers?" I was like, "Oh God, I'm old." I'm like, "I'll explain this after the movie." I'm like, they didn't have computers back then. You actually had to go to this file cabinet, look it up, and then go and hope that the book was there. He was like, "Yeah, okay, old people are weird." I'm like, and young people are going to be grounded. Go to your room. No.
I was so happy to see her going through the Dewey Decimal System thing or
Right?
whatever. I remember having to
it.
learn that in school where I was like, I love the library. So I was like, nailed it, got it, found the call number on this book.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we go back out to detention, and Chris is like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving. So she starts yelling at the teacher, and they have their little banter back and forth, and then the teacher slaps her again.
More slapping.
Yeah, more slapping. She slaps her again. It's like, "No prom for you." I'm like, I still don't understand why all these teachers get to. I mean, it's not like a Catholic school, and she's not a nun. I mean, why the hell do you get to hit these kids?
It's funny you mention all the slapping. This one apparently was an actual slap. I don't know if the others were, but this one specifically was because Brian De Palma apparently wasn't getting the right reaction out of Nancy Allen.
Really?
So he told her to actually slap her. And I think they did like 30 something takes of this one scene.
Oh, wow.
With her actually being slapped.
So like 31
wow.
slaps? Oh my, wow.
So talk about something you can't do anymore for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so now the boys are in gym class, and they're running around the track, and Sue asked Tommy, she's like, "I need you to do me a favor." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, anything for you, honey." And she's like, "I want you to take, Carrie White to the prom." And we didn't quite get his reaction yet, so we just know that he had asked her. And now Chris is in the car with Billy, John Travolta, who
slap.
Yeah.
More slapping.
I was going to say there was the whole banter there, and and he slaps her, which I'm like, Dick, do not hit a woman. Knock it off. And he didn't slap her once. He slapped her a couple of times. But so the friends are driving down the street. They see each other, throws him a beer. He's drinking and driving. All of a sudden, he sees a cop. He throws the beer down. It hits her, spills on her dress or whatever. And so she calls him a stinking shit or something like that.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
I think stupid shit or something.
Stupid shit.
She kept calling him stupid, and he took offense to that.
Yeah. So he was like, "Don't call me that." She did it again. He slapped her. And so they pull up to, I'm assuming it looked like a party or wherever they were at.
Yeah.
With all the other
someplace
kids.
where the kids were hanging out.
Yeah.
And
they're arguing back and forth, and they start making out, and she's like, "I'm going to have to convince him to kind of help me." So she convinces him, all right. So.
Yeah.
and
the plot thickens.
Right?
I love how it keeps cutting back and forth between these two couples, Tommy and Sue, and then this other couple. It's like the difference in these relationships is very interesting.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And then also how each of the couples handled this the situation. You got one that's like, I'll take Carrie to the prom. And then the other's just like, well, I hate her and you're going to do something. Which
Yeah.
Yet, but
Right.
it's a not very good something.
No.
Yeah,
not
no.
at all. All right, so we cut back to Sue and Tommy watching TV, I'm assuming at one of their houses, and he says, yes, I will go ahead. I'll take care of the prom if that's what you want me to do. So
I love the silent treatment that she gives him until
right?
I thought that part was so funny.
Yes, can relate. I've been guilty of that a few times.
All right, we'll cut back to the car, and she's convincing him to help her with the plan. And as she's convincing him, she's like, I hate Carrie White. And he's like, well, keep doing whatever you're doing. I don't care. We'll do whatever. So
can I just say, during the scene where she's convincing him, she's managing to talk while she's convincing him.
I was going to bring that up. I was like,
talent.
You're not doing your job well. So
right? You can clearly talk while you got a mouthful, ma'am. Like,
right?
Wow.
Talent.
All right. So now Carrie is back in the school library. And or John Travolta, well, his character didn't have a mouthful.
No, he did not.
So so Carrie's back in the school library, and Tommy approaches her and starts talking to her and asks her, if she would go to prom with him. Carrie's like, gotta go, and just like runs away. No, yes, no, nothing. She's just like, I'm gone. So yeah. Miss Collins, the teacher, finds her, sees that Carrie's upset. She's crying, tells her about Tommy and asked her to the prom. And she's like, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and, go with him? Maybe it would be nice. And, starts encouraging her and telling her that, she's a very pretty girl, and she's got beautiful eyes, and you should, put a little mascara on and put some lipstick on, and you'll probably have a really, a really good time.
I always thought this part was so sweet, because this is like a motherly figure, just like coming out, a motherly figure that Carrie just like does not have, because that's the kind of thing a mom would do. It's like, hey, let's put a little bit of makeup on. Hey, let's fix your hair. And then also kind of like that look on her face at the end was kind of like a worried, like little concerned.
Absolutely. Because then Miss Collins has got Sue and Tommy, and she's like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah, spill. What's the deal?
What's the deal? Why what's going on? There's this big conversation, and I'm just trying to be nice. Okay, I don't buy it. What's going on here? And then Tommy's like, I got to get to practice. She's like, you're not going anywhere. Sit down. We gotta find out what's going on here. So
I want to ask you guys something. The Miss Collins mentions that you can't go to prom if you don't have a date. Like, what the hell is that bullshit?
That is bullshit, because it's like, you should be able to go to prom with friends or by yourself or whatever. You have to have. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, I was very confused on that.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if there was different rules like for school dances in the 70s, but it's just like, I would have gone by myself or with friends and had a really good time. So.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, especially now. Like, that was very strange.
And I totally bought it, because I thought those were the rules, because we didn't have prom. So
you weren't allowed prom. It was like
no.
Dream, huh?
Yeah, I was just about to say
no dancing.
Yeah, no, there was no dancing. There was no secular music.
Where was Kevin Bacon?
Even Christian music couldn't have any type of beat or electric guitar or drums. No, that was the devil. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So you never got a prom?
Nope.
Wow.
Not at all. So.
Aww.
And you wonder why I'm not Baptist still. So. So anyway, the next thing we see is Tommy is going over to Carrie's house to ask her to go to the prom again. Knocks on the door, and she was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I want to take you to prom. No. Aren't you going to invite me in? Nope, my mom's sleeping. you got to go. you have to leave. So he wears her down. She says, yes, I'll go to prom with you. Okay, cool. I'll pick you up, slams the door in his face at 8 o'clock. Good to know. So,
I hope she knows what time I said.
right? All right, so Billy, Chris, and some other friends are going to a pig farm. And of course, the first time you're seeing this, you're like, why are they going to a pig farm? We know that they're going to kill the pig and get its blood. So Billy ends up killing the pig. At this point, we don't know why they're killing the pig. You know,
right.
I'm just like, these guys are a-holes.
Yeah.
We're
So
not quite
upsetting.
sure why. Right?
Yeah, and it was almost very psychotic, and just the way that Chris was acting. It's just like, wow, you're getting so much joy over watching your boyfriend kill a pig. What's the matter with you?
I know. I'd be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm good. Like, I wouldn't even. Yeah, no. But she's way too into it. It's brutal.
She's way too into it. She's just as nuts as they are.
We've seen what a manipulative
power
bitch
hungry.
she was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
she's getting what she wants.
Yeah.
That's what she feeds off of.
Yeah. So Carrie and her mom are now having dinner at their house, and Carrie tells her that she has been invited to prom by Tommy and she wants to go. No, that's not going to happen. She says, no, we're not having that. Prom's the devil. Dancing's the devil. Boys are the devil. Sex is the devil. Everything's the devil.
I love the line that she says. It's like, after the blood comes the boys. You've got Satan's powers. Like,
yeah.
It's,
yeah. So she sends her to her prayer closet to, pray again. And Carrie slams the window down with her mind and says that she wants to go to prom and things are going to change around here. And she is going to go.
Yeah.
Which, good for you for standing up for yourself.
Yes, I freaking love that part because to me, it's the turning point of this movie. The turning point to where she accepts Tommy's invite to prom and then she stands up for herself against her mother. She's just like, I'm going. And just like, you can't stop me. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. So yes, like you really feel for her in that moment.
Yes.
It's just like, go girl.
Mom tells her that it's the devil and to renounce the power of Satan. And Carrie's like, nope, still going. That's all there is to it. I'm going. So
and she even says there's a scientific explanation for what I have, and it's not because of Satan.
She's like, other people have this, and I also really love like the music. There's like these psycho kind of stings. It's like very, very psycho. Love that.
Did you know they initially wanted the original composer from Psycho to do the music, but he died before they started filming, so that that's why they used some of the music inspired by Psycho. So
that makes sense.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Okay, so Billy and Chris are now filling the buckets with blood at the school gymnasium. Flip back to Mama White praying for Carrie, and going back and forth, and she's just looking a little crazy and like no, we can't do this. We can't do this. And I'm like, all right, calm it down. Go pray or something. She's going to be fine.
She's losing control.
Right. She's losing control. That's freaking her out. So, flip to the girls getting their hair done at the salon, and they're all talking. Did you hear Carrie White's going to prom with Tommy? And, that's the chatter in the little group here. So,
again, ladies, support each other. If I would have heard this, I'm like, you go, Carrie, man, Tommy, like,
right,
cute, and he writes poetry.
The kids are decorating for the prom. The boys are out shopping. Carrie's out shopping for some makeup, which can't wear makeup because that's the devil. So,
well, you're not
she
supposed
tries
to...
on all the colors.
I know.
Oh my gosh. That part was so cute. It's just like their samplers. You're not supposed to put them like on your mouth.
I know.
It was cute though.
The boys trying on their tuxes are cute too.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I love that moment where they're all like, that one kid doesn't want to wear a tux, so he gets the shirt the tuxedo shirt. It's so cute.
He says he doesn't have a tuxedo body, which is hilarious.
So stupid.
But I did love all the ruffles.
I love William Katt's like prom.
Yes.
Oh, all the ruffles.
Yeah. Definitely tell us the 70s.
Oh yeah.
With all the ruffles. So Carrie's now getting ready for prom, and we find out later that she made her own dress, which was absolutely gorgeous. I thought she looked great.
Beautiful dress.
I thought she looked great. And Mom comes in and she looks and she's like, no. She's like, you can just stay home. And she's like, no, I'm going to prom. She's like, but I can see your dirty pillows.
Dirty pillows.
Everybody's going to see your dirty pillows.
I love that line so much. Oh
yes.
my God.
So I will be referring to them as dirty pillows from this day forward.
Oh God.
Iconic.
Look at the dirty pillows. So
they're called breast, Ethan.
Everyone has
them.
And I like them. No. So Mom's kind of freaking out. She's told her, put her dirty pillows away. She's kind of freaking about, pacing back and forth. And she's like, he's not coming. He's not coming. She's looking out the window. And she's telling her she's not coming. But I think it's kind of like a sign of relief for the mom. Like, okay, this kid's really not coming. And she's, she's not going to be sinning. And what happens? Well, obviously he shows up. So she's like, they're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. They're going to see your dirty pillows. They're all going to laugh at you. Carrie takes and throws her on the bed with her mind, which I was like, that was great. Just put her in her place, please. I mean, not that you should ever hurt any of your parents, but I was like, I really don't like her. So that's okay. Throw her down.
It was a good for her moment, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Carrie's leaving, the mom starts quoting scripture.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to
suffer
live.
not a witch to live. And I'm like, oh my God, that is not what that means, people. So Tommy and Carrie, they're obviously going to prom, and Carrie, they pull up and she's like, can we just, can we wait a minute here? Because it's very overwhelming for her because, well, she's this mousy little girl who doesn't do anything, and now she's going to prom. And she says, maybe this is a mistake and we should just go home. Let's call this a night. And Tommy assures her that, it's going to be okay. I'm here with you. We're going to have a good time. So
yeah.
They're at the prom, and, all the kids are dancing and everything. Flip over to Sue is having dinner with her family, and she's like, okay, I gotta go. Where are you going? I just gotta go somewhere. I'm sorry. When I left somewhere, I couldn't just tell my parents, yeah, I'm going somewhere. Where are you going? I'll be back.
Yeah, no. My dad would not have let me at the front door. No.
Yeah. Do you like your teeth? You're going to tell me where you're going. You just don't get up and leave. But
you're also going to ask. You're not going to just go.
Right?
Yeah.
So back at the prom, Miss Collins comes over to talk to Carrie, and she, is telling her that she looks good, and she was telling her about her prom, and this is what happened, and
that scene is so sweet, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
It's so cute. The moment where Carrie looks at Miss Collins and says, you look so beautiful. I was like, oh, first of all, Carrie is such a sweet girl. Like, she's such a sweet girl. And then they have this great little moment where she tells her the story. And I'm like, it's not going to go well for you, any of you.
Can I ask you guys, like, Brandy, did you go to prom?
Yes, I actually did go to prom, but we didn't have a live band. We had we had a DJ. Like the first time we had a junior and senior prom. So the first time I went with one of my close guy friends, and my senior year I went by myself. But yeah, it was fun, but just no live bands. So I asked my mom's just like, well, were live bands like a thing? Like at proms and dances? Because I see these all the time at 70s and 80s. And she goes, yeah, just we had live bands like playing our dances in our prom. It's like, oh, okay. okay, cool.
Yeah. Jamie, what about you?
I went to both my proms. I had a junior and a senior prom. Junior prom, I went with a guy I had met at like a dance class. He ended up having like a little flirtation with one of my friends. Her date was flirting with somebody else. So it was like, whatever. But senior prom, I just went stag. I went with all my friends. We rented a limo. We stopped at the dollar store. We got glow sticks, and we were super popular the rest of the prom because everybody wanted a glow stick. So we were just giving out glow sticks to people, but no live music, DJ only.
Yeah, we had a DJ as well. I only had a senior prom, and I paid for my own tickets. I paid for my own dress. I bought my dress from a thrift shop because I couldn't afford a brand new one. And I ended up asking a guy myself. He was in theater with me. He was a junior, so we went together and we tried to go out for dinner, and the dinner was late, so we didn't get to go have dinner before the prom. And yeah, it was all right. It was very overrated for what it was. That's prom.
Yeah, all right. Seems like I didn't miss too much. So
No, not at all.
No.
All right. So Tommy comes over while she's talking to the teacher, and she's like, "Hey, you flirt with my date," and So she gets out there, and Tommy sits down, and he's talking to her, and it seems like he's genuinely having a good time with her, and
Yeah,
he really looks like he kind of likes her, and he's flirting with her. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's a genuine. He wasn't just doing this. He may have started out, to be nice because he was asked to, but I really think he's enjoying himself. That's what I was getting from it.
Yeah,
So.
I'm curious though. He's still technically dating Sue.
Right.
And, he's showing all this interest and stuff, and she's worried that he's going to make fun of her or it's a trap or a trick or something. What do you think assuming everything had went well and stuff and, prom had went just fine and everybody lived?
What would have happened?
What do you think would have been Carrie's reaction when the next Monday morning he's back with Sue?
Or would she have went back with Sue?
Yeah.
Maybe he would have stayed with Carrie.
Yeah, I do know in the book that he really did have a thing for Carrie. He genuinely liked her, just had a little bit of a crush on her, and it was just so that part that in the movie is directly from the book. So it's just I'm so glad that they included that in the movie.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's important to show that Carrie, can be desired and stuff, and she is pretty. So
yeah. He
Oh,
liked her dirty pillows.
He liked her dirty pillows. That's what won him over.
Yeah.
I think it's so sweet too when she's nervous. She's nervous to dance because she doesn't know how, and he's like, "Come on!" And then when she starts to get it, he's genuinely happy and he smiles, and it's really cute.
It's a really great moment together with them. I love them so much.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He tells her, "Come on, let's dance," and she's like, "I'm not gonna dance. I don't know how."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Don't worry about it. Come on. Yeah, I'll take you out here. I'll show you what's going on." So. And he was genuinely nice to her. So
yeah. And then the way it was filmed, I had to look that up because there was a point in time where the camera just seemed to be going just around and around. And I think they had the two of them on a platform that was spinning one way, and then they had the camera on the dolly that was spinning the opposite way. So that's how they were able to get that effect. I don't know the technical term for it, but I thought that was really cool.
I don't think there is a technical term. They did their own thing with that. Yeah.
I don't know cinematography technical terms. So I was like, they did the thing with the thing.
Yeah.
It's
that's exactly what we do here.
That's exactly
the thing.
Yeah, that's the exact note I had too. Jamie might know the terms, but the rest of us don't. So
I don't know this one. Nope.
I just go, wow, that looked cool. So
yeah, Jamie's a great cinematography aficionado. She knows a lot of stuff about that. So
thank you. I don't know the name of the spinny thing, but the spinny thing is awesome.
I love this shot so much, and I was watching it just getting dizzy, but it was a good dizzy. I feel this is how you would feel if you're in love for the first time. Just not altogether firmly on your feet.
Right.
Very beautiful.
Right. So when they're dancing, Carrie decides to ask him, why did you ask me? to go to prom, you know. And he lied, which, well, I mean, rightfully so. He doesn't want to hurt her feelings. He lies and says it's because, you know, she liked his poem.
I think that's partly true, though.
Yeah, I think that was partially true. So,
but I think he also said he didn't even write the poem. So I could totally like see him like paying someone to be like, here, I'll give you like $5, write this for me for English class.
They're both having a good time, and you know, it really genuinely seems like they're both having a good time. He seems that he really wants to be there with her. So they get up and they say it's now time to vote for the king and the queen of the prom. Of course, flips back to Mama White being at home, pacing, being crazy, chopping carrots like a nutbag.
I love this scene so much because she's got all the vegetables out on the counter and she's just chopping. Just not even paying attention.
Yes.
It's like, what was she gonna make? Like stew or something? Like, or did she just have random vegetables like out her counter? It's like, I'm gonna chop them angrily.
Right? She was just pissed and needed to chop something. So
yes, I know the feeling. When I'm having a rough day, I just grab some vegetables, you know, get to chopping.
That's it. All right, so it goes from Mrs. White to you see Chris and Bill in the rafters in the gym. Of course, we don't know what they're doing there, but we just see them for a second and they're up there. So the kids start collecting the ballots for king and queen and switch the ballots to make sure that Carrie and Tommy win. So next thing
I want a ballot, by the way, guys. I think that'd be the coolest prop ever, like to have a ballot.
Yeah, this is Carrie and Tommy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be
that'd
cool.
Be very cool.
I do think that Carrie and Tommy probably would have won without any help from them, by the way.
Yeah.
They were the cutest couple for sure.
Yeah. So now we see that Sue is at the prom and she's behind the stage. So, why exactly was she there? Does anybody know?
I always assumed she was just there to make sure that Carrie was in fact having a good time. Okay, she genuinely wanted her to have a good time.
I'll go with that because I was like, why is she there? She didn't know what the other kids were doing.
Right.
And I mean, was she just checking on Carrie or checking on the boyfriend to make sure he wasn't having too much of a good time? Or I've always wondered, I'm like, well, why exactly is she there? But
yeah, she just seems happy when she sees Carrie happy. So that's what I always assumed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Tommy and Carrie now win the king and queen. And the spotlight goes on them as they go up to the stage, and they're all in slow motion as they're going up there, which I thought was just freaking awesome. I thought it looked great. They get the crown and the roses. Everybody's happy and clapping, and you know everything is great. Sue then looks and sees that there is the rope, and she kind of looks up and sees that there's something above the head. She doesn't know quite what it is, and she sees the silhouette of the people under the stage, and she realizes, okay, crap, something's happening, something's going on. Tommy then kisses Carrie.
Yeah.
And you look and Sue is trying to get under the stage to find out what's going on, and Mrs. Collins sees her and pulls her out and throws her out of the gym because she's not supposed to be there. She didn't have a ticket, and she's like, why the hell are you crawling under the stage? Right. So she picks her up, throws her out, and next thing we know, bucket falls, and you get the iconic scene of her standing there covered in all of the pig's blood. So
I do love the musical transitions just in between just that one scene alone, like the whole kind of happy music as Carrie's walking up there with Tommy, and then the like very sinister kind of music whenever it's cutting to Chris and Billy, and then like the speed up of just like what's happening, like when Sue like gets thrown out, the music kind of speeds up, and then the
yeah, so great.
And Tommy's face is like so good too, because I mean, honestly, like they played it, you know, throughout this like little thing. Like, okay, is Tommy and Sue, are they in on this? Are they part of this like prank? You know? So you're almost as the audience like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, and then you have that moment of realization. Oh, they definitely didn't know. Whoa,
no. And
I
he
was
feels
actually
really
just
bad.
about to say that. He looks at her covered in the blood, and he's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, what the hell's going on? And then the bucket falls and hits Tommy in the head and knocks his ass out. So
I'm also kind of like, how heavy is this fucking bucket that it knocks this football player out? Like,
right?
Yeah, it's like I don't think it was probably that heavy, but probably the speed at which it fell.
So,
or fall. I can't talk.
Fell. That's okay.
Yeah. And it just knocks him out the rest of the, you know, moments that he has left.
Right. Well, I mean, at least he didn't feel it coming. I mean,
that's true. But still, poor Tommy.
I know.
Yeah. Bad times
so
for
kind,
him.
So handsome. No.
So dead. So all of a sudden, Carrie starts having flashbacks of, you know, what her mother's saying, and they're all going to laugh at you, and everybody starts laughing, and, you know, at that point, you're like, she's about to F these people up. It's, you know, it's over with. So Carrie slams the doors and locks them with her telekinesis and takes the fire hose out, which I thought was great, and just starts hosing everybody down. I was like, it's freaking awesome. People are falling over. I was loving it. So it's wheeling around, and it starts hitting the lights up there, and it fries the teachers who's holding onto the microphone.
Yeah, it fries the principal too.
Yes, and the principal, I loved it because I hated him as well. So
yes.
So the kids start, you know, freaking out and running, and all this is happening, and it cut over to Mrs. Collins, who's up against the wall, and all of a sudden that beam comes and just boom hits her, and you know, cuts her in half. And I just thought that was absolutely freaking awesome.
What I love too about this scene is that it was filmed in red, and I noticed in the 70s, especially in films like this in Suspiria, there was a lot of red used, but I feel red is used very deliberately here. It just shows a little bit where she finally snaps. This is her rage. This is her mass murder, like gym murder thing that she has going on.
Definitely. And there is something very different about 70s red versus 80s red. I don't know what it is, but it's so pretty, so bright and vibrant. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it too.
So the gym's on fire. Everybody's dying. Things are happening. It's great. And Carrie, sorry, it's great. So Carrie, full of blood, just very calmly. I mean, in her trance, like, but very calm. She doesn't run. Walks down the steps, walks through the crowd of people.
Great shot.
And out the door. That was great. And as she gets out the door, boom, the door is shut and locked again. So they're like, no, you're going to stay in there and fry. So
yeah,
I was loving it. Chris and Billy are now driving down the street because obviously they were out of the prom. And Carrie's walking down the street and he's going toward her and kind of like swerves, and she gives that look at him, that look on her face is freaking dynamic. And the car flips over and, you know, bursts into flames. And I was like, well, you're going to die in flames and probably end up in flames too. So
good riddance.
So I'm like, yeah, well, you know. So now car's, you know, blown up. She's still walking home covered in blood. Just nobody else in the town noticed this teenage girl covered in blood walking down the street, but it is what it is. So she gets to her house and she's walking up the front porch, and the shot of her just covered in blood, just walking up the porch. Again, I don't know any of the cinematography terms, but that was freaking gorgeous. I absolutely love that. That is such a
She
great
looked
shot.
so defeated too, like
Yeah.
walking up those steps,
Yeah.
like because mom was right.
right.
Technically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she walks in the house and is looking for her mom, and mom has 47,192 candles burning
Exactly.
because, well, she's crazy. So she ends up going upstairs, and of course, where's mom? I don't know. She's off praying or something.
I don't know about you guys, but this scene always gets to me because of like obviously, you know, after seeing it so many times, we know where mom is, but like the anticipation of finding mom on camera
Right.
is so tense, and it's just seeing the
Yeah.
house illuminated with the candlelight, and it still freaks me out. And I have to mention this because my new place, there's mirrors for the closets. So
Okay.
it's I watched it at nighttime, of course, and I was going to bed and I turn off all the lights and I am in bed and I'm like turning over and there's the mirrors and just nothing but shadows. And I'm like, I am sleeping with a light on tonight. That's how great this movie is. Like it still affects me that many years later after I initially saw it. But the mom still creeps me out. Like Piper Laurie did a fantastic
She
job.
did.
Oh my gosh.
She
Yeah.
did.
So great.
I'm
So great.
so upset I never got to meet her.
I know.
So upset.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch the mom standing behind the door until like a couple months ago. I
Really?
watched it. Yeah, it's just like she's standing behind the door. So I just love that aspect too, to where like
That's great.
to where you could like pick up new things, like no matter how many times you've watched a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carrie goes up into her
Totally.
room and she kind of like snaps out of the trance that she was in.
Yeah.
And she like kind of looks at herself and she was like, oh, I'm covered in blood.
It's almost like what have I done type moment. Yeah.
So she goes into the bathroom. She goes into the bathroom and then you see mom standing behind the door.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'm a little confused here.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not confused. She takes a bath.
Yes.
Now, honey, you're covered in blood. Why are you not taking a shower and let the blood run off of you and down the drain?
Yeah.
You're sitting in the water, just sitting in blood.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't understand that, but
We'll give her a break.
It was a tough night.
I mean, she did just kill 73 people, so she's like, I want to soak in it. But okay, fine. That's fine.
Love it.
So Carrie's looking for some comfort from her mom, and mom says that she should have killed herself and that she should have, never had her and killed her when she was, pregnant, and tells the story about, her dad, and her first sin was having sex with him, and, then they lived together, but they lived separately, and then dad was drunk and, was going to get it down with mom, and she really liked it. And I was like, okay, crazy. Just let it go. Let it go. Yeah. So she's telling this story about all that, and she says that she should have given her back to God and that she's praying with her, and she decides she's going to give her back to God and takes a butcher knife and stabs her in the back. And of course, Carrie's like, what the hell? And, is crawling away from her, and she's like, cowering in a corner now by what looked like that China hutch. She's just, cowering there because, well, your mother's now coming to kill you. And the look on Piper Laurie's face as she has the knife, I'm like, no, honey, Satan's in you.
Yeah.
You're Satan right now. That ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. You're trying to kill your kid. So, of course, Carrie's not having it, and she, uses her telekinetic powers to start throwing knives and stuff at mom. And did you notice her hand goes boom, and it's up here, and then the next one is here. And I was like, you've just crucified your mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when she's dead, she's kind of like, you know, her head's tilted down and it looks just like the crazy crucifix in there. And I was like, that part just gave me the willies. I was like, that is just, that's terrible. So now she's dead. Carrie's like, oh my God, I've just killed my mother. And she's upset because as crazy as she was, she still loved her mom. So she's like, oh shit, what did I do? So, you know, she takes the knife out and she is holding her, and house starts shaking and everything starts moving and on fire. And she's just like holding her mother's dead body as the house like implodes on her, which I was just like, oh my God, your mother was batshit crazy, but she still loved her. And that just got me. I'm like, yeah.
I have to say too, when the mom dies, I love like her like death, because it like goes on for a while. Like she makes the noises and she has almost like a look of like like satisfaction on her face. It's like crazy like satisfaction. I don't know, but I loved her death. It was really awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the house implodes, falls in on her, whole 9 yards. Okay, Carrie's dead. Next thing, it flips over to Sue in bed, and Sue's mother's sitting by her, and she gets a phone call. So she's talking, blah, 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 whatever. Next thing we know, Sue's walking down the street, and she comes to where the house was, and there's a cross there that says Carrie White is burning in hell, or burn in hell, Carrie White, something to the effect of that. And, you know, she's crying, she kneels down and she puts the flowers at the grave, and she genuinely, you know, feels bad because, you know, this girl's dead. And Carrie's hand pops up and grabs her, and which, by the way, the first time I seen that, I was very young, and that scared the piss out of me. Scared me. My older brother, I would be in bed and he would sneak in and like slither on the floor. And if I was watching TV or not paying attention or something, he would just pop his arm out and go, Carrie! And I would jump 12 feet in the air. Thanks, Eli.
Wow.
That scared the piss out of me.
Oh, wow.
So obviously we find out that Sue wakes up and it was just a dream that she had, and she's freaking out, and movie's over. So that was Carrie from 1976.
Yeah. I think the ending they did like a similar Dress to Kill is another De Palma film from 1980, and the ending to that movie and the Carrie movie is very similar in the fact that there was like a nightmare, but that wasn't really a nightmare, and the whole like screaming and stuff at the end, like by two characters. So classic De Palma ending.
I read that the ending of the movie is different than the ending of the book. I haven't read the book yet, but apparently Stephen King liked it better than how he ended it, so that's kind of cool.
Oh
yeah.
I haven't read the book either.
I wanted to.
Have either of you read the book?
I need to read it.
Is it a different ending?
Yes, it is a different ending, but I won't say like what.
Thank you.
I don't want to spoil anything. I hate spoilers.
No, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into some fun facts then. All right, so obviously we know Piper Laurie thought the whole character that she played was a black comedy, but Nancy Allen, she claims she never realized her character was going to be so evil until she saw the finished film. She thought that her and John Travolta were just playing such self-centered bickering morons that they were there for comic relief.
Oh no.
Like, what the fuck? Did you only get your pages? Like,
right?
While speaking at a book event in Florida in 2010, Stephen King recalled that he was paid only $2,500 for the movie rights to Carrie. But he said he has no regrets. He felt that he was very fortunate to have Carrie as his first book, even though, you know, the famous story of him throwing it away and his wife finding the manuscript.
Yep.
Right.
He liked the movie. He thought, as far as I know, as of 2010, that was his favorite adaptation of any of his works.
Okay.
And when they remade Carrie in 2013, he said that there is no point to remaking this movie. It's perfect as is. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'll
There's
have to agree
lots
with that.
of. I agree. I don't think that it's been any better than the 70s one.
No.
Yeah, it's like, and I have seen the 2013 version, and it's good.
Yeah,
But
Right.
I'm always going to prefer the OG movie.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
it was good,
perfect.
but the OG is excellent.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
So,
Yeah.
There's lots of references to Psycho in the movie. The high school is named Bates High.
Mhm.
In addition, the 4-note violin theme from Psycho is used over and over in Carrie, and the slaughterhouse where the pig gets killed is called Bates Packing.
yep.
So that's
Oh,
fun.
wow.
Yeah. While filming the bloody prom sequence, Sissy Spacek's trailer was parked behind the set. After she was covered in the fake blood for continuity purposes, she refused to wash the effect off. So she instead slept in her bloody clothes for 3 days of filming.
Oh wow.
3 days. That's
She's a
impressive.
champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Sue Snell and her mother Eleanor are played by real life daughter and mother Amy Irving and Priscilla Pointer.
So cool.
Yeah. And apparently during that dream sequence after she woke up, the woman that played Sue was screaming so horrifically, and her mother had never heard such sounds come out of her. She was actually worried for her. So that's not acting
Oh,
on
Oh,
her mother's
wow.
part. That's very impressive.
wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Sissy Spacek wasn't considered for the role of Carrie until her husband, art director Jack Fisk, convinced Brian De Palma to allow her to audition.
It was a good choice.
Yeah.
I can't see anybody else in that role ever.
Absolutely.
No, and I think initially they thought that she was too pretty, so she was like, hold please. So she got a dress that she got made by her mother in 7th grade, had like conditioners up put in her hair, and then went back in. And they were just like,
Wow.
you're hired.
Yeah.
Ah, love that.
Yeah, because Carrie in the book, she's described as chubby
Yep.
and stuff. So she's not supposed to be skinny and pretty. And I think Sissy Spacek looks like an all-American average girl. You know, not that just say she's not pretty, she's gorgeous, but she's got like a natural beauty to her, you
Right.
know?
She does.
Yes.
Yeah. In Carrie's house, the statue of the religious figure shot with arrows is actually representing Saint Sebastian, not Jesus.
Okay.
Oh.
So there you go.
Well,
Okay.
It's not meant as a crucifix.
feel a whole lot better because I was like, God looks creepy. So.
I know. I was like, I'm scared of that.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know if this is for sure or not, but I think it's ironic because the mother had such a horrible grasp on religion and stuff, and she misinterprets all these passages. I think it's ironic that she would have
Absolutely.
that and it's not actually Jesus, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
The film was a major box office hit for United Artists, grossing over 33 million in the United States alone. And they only put in 1.8 million into the film. Yeah. This is a little bit of a fun fact. Carrie, the character, was inspired by 2 girls Stephen King observed in grade school and high school.
Okay.
In his introduction to a new edition of Carrie, King called them Tina White and Sandra Irving, so as not to tarnish their names, since not everyone agrees with Carrie's actions. Tina was a very peculiar girl who came from a very peculiar family. Her mother wasn't a religious nut like the mother in Carrie. She was a game nut. She did sweepstakes and lotteries and stuff like that. Yeah. And he says that she had one change of clothes for the entire school year, and all the other kids made fun of her. Tina was quiet, sat in the back row, and was always bullied because she only had one set of clothes. And when she finally got a new outfit and was very proud of it, the bullying did not stop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tina.
The other girl, Sandra, she lived down the street from the house that King grew up in and was raised by a single mom. When Stephen King was 16 years old, he assisted her mother in moving some furniture, and he was struck by the massive cross that hung above their couch. Sandra was also avoided by her peers because of her seizures and strange dress attire. Sadly, neither of these girls made it to the age of 30. Tina unfortunately took her own life, and Sandra died from a seizure alone in her apartment.
It's terrible.
So that's really sad, but
Yeah.
that was his inspiration for Carrie. It's actually based on 2 girls. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I thought I'd include that as kind of a little tribute to them and all the kids that get bullied in high school.
Right.
Seriously.
It sucks. All right. Well, what do we think of this movie? Brandy, I'll let you start. You're our guest.
I'm going to be very biased, obviously. Like, I love this movie. It's always been one of my favorites. I watched it last night, like before the podcast, and I'm always like going back to it. And it's just, like I said, personal connections, such fond memories for me. Like, if I'm going to give it a rating, it will be like it'll be just a 10 out of 10. Just like, because when I love something, I'm all in. And if I don't love something, I'm just like, so 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Awesome. Jamie, what about you?
I'm also one of those people who, when I love something, I love it pretty big. So yeah, Carrie is a 10 for me too. I just think it's a 10 movie. It's phenomenally shot, amazing. Little fun fact too, there's a musical that came out in 1988 of Carrie. It was considered a huge flop. I've heard a couple songs off of it. There was never a recorded cast album, but there's some bootleg songs laying around there somewhere. But if you ever get a chance to check out some of the Carrie musical, check it out. It was considered to be one of the biggest flops in theater history.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I know. So just a fun fact I had to add, I really would love it if they brought that back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a copy of it on DVD, so we'll watch it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
We'll have to bring Brandy back and we'll review it together.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also biased. I remember the first time I saw this movie, the fact that it so creeped me out like last week, that's enough to right now tell you it's a 10 out of 10. Like it's a perfect 70s film, and I love Brian De Palma, so yeah, it's a 10.
Right.
Ethan?
Yeah. Well, okay. Love De Palma. Love the film. It is great. Loved everybody in it. I thought they did an excellent job. I am going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I don't think it's perfect.
Okay.
But I would watch it again tomorrow. It's a great film. Just please, people, don't watch this and think that all Christians are nuts like that.
Yeah.
We're not. So religious people are.
Right.
But real Christians are not. So
yeah. Right.
But no, I would say I would give it a good solid 9. So,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. And that is Carrie. Brandy, if people want to find you and hear more about what you think about different horror movies, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me at Terrorific Lady. So it's like terrific, except Terrorific Lady on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. It's The Terrorific Lady. For some reason, they wouldn't let me like pick Terrorific Lady as my name, so I had to put a "the" in front of it. So it's the only place that's different. But yeah, I'm pretty much the same name everywhere. It's easy to find me.
Perfect. And we will also include links to all of your pages in our description of the episode, so you guys can easily find that right below. We hope to have you back, Brandy. It's been a pleasure having you on, and it's like I said, ever since I found you on Instagram, it's just been a pleasure listening to you each week, and I would love to have you back for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that just makes me feel so good. Thank you. Thank you. I would love to come back just whenever there is a free spot in your schedule, and I will be happy to come back on again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we would love it. It's been great.
We would love that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Until next time, I'm Nina.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Ethan.
And we are Bloody Essentials. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.